I'm not sure I could really pinpoint what it is that people love about exploring in an urban area that's not always, or rarely, is it as nice as hiking out on a trail in a forest somewhere. I don't know what the appeal is, but people do like to see the underside of the city. WonderRoot is a local nonprofit community arts center, and I pitched this idea to them of having a club, sort of a free club where people with common and also with some different interests could get together and explore the city on foot. They fully embraced the idea and helped advertise and make it a reality. We've had anywhere from 5 people to 45 people. They've brought their dogs, they've brought their children, they've brought their friends. I have to admit, there's more people that were interested than I ever imagined.
Today we're going to be hiking from Amsterdam Walk near Piedmont Park down to DeKalb Avenue. And when this corridor went in about 150 years ago, there was nothing out here. The city of Atlanta was in the core, and this was way out. This is like the 285 of it today. It's a work in progress like anything else in the city. With the Beltline corridor being developed, it's getting reused again. The Beltline is a pretty ambitious project here in Atlanta. It's a 25-year window of funding and planning and implementation, all happening in an abandoned rail corridor. So there's a lot of work being done in the corridor as far as getting things ready for what's coming, which is transit, parks, trails, public art, new housing. It's pretty remarkable, that section of town. I've been a freight train conductor for about 5 years now. So there would have been a piece of rail under this, and so it's a derail to protect the industry or to keep something from coming out of the industry and rolling all the way down to Metropolitan. But it's a derail. It's been remarkable to walk up and see railroad switches that are over 100 years old. And they're beautiful. I mean, curves and lines that we don't see in manufacturing anymore. And so being able to share those kind of discoveries with people in the city that don't really realize that kind of infrastructure still exists in their backyards has been pretty neat.
And to be able to see things like going under bridges that you normally drove over, being able to see the old foundations underneath the bridges, even just the different views of the city.
That's a loft building there.
I mean, there's countless places like that. It's just a different way to see the city, even if you've been to a spot near there in a car. It's totally different on foot.
People don't realize how close they are to everything else. So when we start walking in straight lines without having to deal with sidewalks, streets, cars, the city unfolds so quickly that you almost can't even comprehend where you're at. So your mind all of a sudden has to re-grid the whole city for this new pathway. Urban hikes all around the city. There's some areas where there's a sidewalk that's been covered up by 2 or 3 inches of dirt and grass. You get into the Beltline corridor, it's kind of that times 10, where you've got rails that went to an industry off that main track. And there'll be a 20 or 30-year-old tree growing in between those rails.
And you can see nature starting to come back in and take over. But, you know, a lot of what we see is the trash that's left in the city by people that live here as well. But until we actually get out there and kind of explore together, we don't really know what we're going to see. The good, bad, and the ugly, all of it.
We don't really get out of our cars a whole lot anymore. We drive to work, we drive home, we drive to the store. We're not really spending time wandering. It's a lot more than just the experience of walking. There's a lot of stopping, looking, talking, sharing.
So that we can all be united amongst the trails, knowing that the many different birds that inhabit the trees would allow us to see.
And it's community, and it's getting people in a different environment with a different set of rules, really. And so getting people out of that, I need to get from here to there mode, it really kind of reminds you the full scale and scope of the city.